Ismail, how are you? How is the situation in Zanzibar these days with the COVID-19 pandemics?
Well, I'm good. Thanks, Emil. The situation is not good. As you know, Africa has seen late the arrival of COVID-19, but there are already more than 200 cases altogether in Tanzania. That's official figures as given, and about 21 declared deaths so far. And in Zanzibar, where I'm based, we have already about 134 cases. And of course, given the population, that means ratio-wise, we have far bigger problem in Zanzibar than it is on the mainland. And so far, the number of deaths declared in Zanzibar is 5. But we have already and always doubted these figures, and we believe the situation is far worse than what the government.
Are you worried about the situation? Because in the international media, we read that there are like 2 members of parliament who actually lost their life to COVID-19, even a minister, and yet the president refuses to announce state of emergency or even to introduce lockdown.
Well, our party actually from the very beginning advised the government to take necessary measures that could have reduced the impact of this virus in Tanzania and to try to check its transmission. But all our calls for lockdown, restricting movements, even coming with maybe some economic measures to try to help our people when we want to impose a kind of a lockdown in our own context, all these were ignored by the government. So now we have those red. We don't know actually whether, because the government does not want to mention who died out of COVID-19, but it is very strange that in a matter of 10 days, Tanzanian parliament lost 3 members of parliament. Now the government has not said whether they died of COVID-19, but that's what many people believe, because also the government restricted in the way they were laid to rest. The burial ceremony was very restricted, with only few members of the family allowed, and everything was done by the government. And out of the 3, one of them is the late Ambassador Augustine Mahiga, who was our former foreign minister in Tanzania. And when he died, he was the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. But also a number of prominent figures, 2 district commissioners have already passed away, a number of religious leaders. So the situation is very worrying, but we don't know whether it is confirmed as COVID-19, because the government is trying to hide the facts about this pandemic in Tanzania and also in Zanzibar as well.
What do you think will be the repercussions of this kind of behavior? Because it will have impact on the health crisis, then it will be economic crisis. European Union has announced massive support for Africa, but it is conditioned on the way that the health authorities are dealing with the crisis, and also on the way that the governments are actually dealing with the civil rights and liberties. Is there any prospect that Tanzania will be saved in terms of consequences?
Well, we are already feeling the heat because, as you know, a number of African countries have applied for some kind of support, stimulus package from IMF, from World Bank, from other bilateral donors, and many countries, including our own neighbors here, for example, Kenya and Uganda, have been given some support. But Tanzania so far has not received any kind of support, because I think of this what is seen as attempts to try to hide the situation and not to tell the truth. We already, for example, have felt the impact here in Zanzibar, especially on tourism, because we rely heavily on tourism. Almost 80% of our foreign exchange come from tourism. And right now, actually, the sky or the airspace has been closed down. Almost all the airlines have stopped coming to Tanzania and to Zanzibar as well. And Tanzania is also stopped airline from coming as well. So that means actually there's no circulation of money. our people actually from the retailers, those who sell souvenirs, the taxi drivers, hoteliers, hotel workers, restaurants, all these are affected. And that means that a lot of people are suffering. And as you can imagine right now, in Zanzibar, it's like predominantly Muslim, and we are in Ramadan, where normally actually people like spend more than usual. And when you feel the pinch in terms of like economic situation, people suffer a lot. So definitely we face this impact heavily. And on the health situation, we didn't prepare ourselves. As I said earlier, all the call that we gave from the opposition, from other people, were rejected and ignored by the government. So already our health services are very much stretched. And when you face a pandemic like this, that means it's very difficult to be able to cope with that. And in addition to the government's stance, especially President John Magufuli's stance, which is seen by many as like he's in a state of denial and has been trying to, what he says actually is try to scale down the rumors and the fear. But the negative aspect of it that people have been taking it easy. And therefore, for example, you don't find the same level of restrictions and social distancing like you find in other countries, even within the region itself. And we believe actually that the situation is far worse than what the government declared. And therefore, it might be like in a few weeks' time, we might find that both Zanzibar and Tanzania will face far, far bigger crisis than what we are already witnessing at the moment.
Yeah, we read WHO today warned that 90,000 lives might be lost because of COVID-19 in Africa, and there was a clear call on the governments to take clear measures. How about, I mean, we also saw on your Facebook page that you posted how important work you're doing in the House of Representatives and calling on young people to follow suit. What is the impact on the political sphere, given that you have elections scheduled this year, and important elections, especially after you have been robbed from election victory last time in Zanzibar?
Well, first of all, many people thought that with this situation, maybe the government could have postponed the election, but they have not done so. At least they have not declared so. What we have heard from both President Magufuli on the mainland and also the regime in Zanzibar, that they say that they're going to go ahead with the elections. And of course, if it was like a normal period, our election would be in October, and therefore by this time, which is May, most of the political parties would have started the internal processes, the primaries to like select the candidates, maybe the interviews, depending on like different procedures that each party employ in order to get the best candidates. But now we cannot do much because of the fear of the pandemic, and trying to like not to try to be the source of spreading the disease further. So, for example, our party right now, we have already announced for all our members, those who intend to stand, to come out and declare their interest. But so far, the only way they can do that is through social media. So they've been like taking their messages through Facebook, through Twitter, through Instagram. People trying to like make graphics to like put their photos in it and announce. And of course, we're trying to encourage as much as possible our young people who are the ones who are much familiar and much more conversant with using the social media. But all in all, actually, it is not as normal, because if it were not maybe for the pandemic, people have been like much freer. Maybe people have been visiting our party branches, would have like gone to like meet people in the streets and declare their interest. But right now, they cannot do that as well. Another fear that the government might want to go ahead with the elections, not just because maybe they want to keep with the schedule, but because maybe they feel that it's going to be advantageous for them. That, as you know, our elections here have never been free and fair. We have seen in the last 5 years, in 2015 election, that we won in Zanzibar, and the whole world testified, but the government nullified the elections. And those who assisted in trying to export the situation were the international observers. So, and with all these restrictions in movements, the government might see actually this is the opportune moment, because you won't find maybe international observers coming to observe the election, and that will leave like us only to ourselves to try to take care of the whole situation, to try to guard against all the rigging machinery that is always employed. And therefore, actually, there is a fear that as many like commentators on democratic issues, like Professor Nick Chisman and others have been writing, that you might see actually that authoritarian regimes in Africa and other parts of the world might want to take advantage of this, because for them it's going better, because they will keep the countries away from the eyes of the world, away from the democratic and human rights forces in the world who want to like come and observe the situation. So it's very, very worrying. It's very, very worrying.
Thank you, Ismail. I know these are challenging times for you in Zanzibar and all across Tanzania. It's a difficult moment we live in, and it is true that the key to winning this battle against COVID-19 lies in Africa. I want to reassure you that you can count on the support of your friends across the world, and that you're going to come out of this victorious. My best wishes to you, your family, and to all the friends in Zanzibar.